don't normally record these, and now I know why. Man. Okay, so I have a brief announcement. First of all, welcome. That's my first announcement. Thanks for being here, everybody. And this is sponsored by our friends at CodeWord. You'll meet them. They are around. Woo! So I'm going to read this. It's only going to take 90 seconds, and you'll get paid back with another glass of rosé after the presentation. So they have made this promise. CodeWord is a great little digital marketing agency that loves to check the boxes that other agencies do not, and you know what I mean. That's the messy stuff. It's the work that takes deep expertise and quick execution. They work for tech giants like Google and Asus. Asus? Yes. And the startups that you're into right now. So we're talking about some of the hardest challenges in marketing, like comms that delight users instead of boring or annoying them, helping C-suite executives sound interesting. Good luck with that. UX design that doesn't just adhere to accessibility standards, but pushes them forward. Creating brand content that doesn't look like it's brand content. Also, good luck with that. Even writing a sales pitch that will impress a room like this one, full of writers and content experts. You did a good job. It's great. It's great. So this is the kind of difficult work that other agencies really hate, and that's where CodeWord thrives. And also, and I quote, they're friendly as hell. So pull them aside for a chat tonight. They're over there. At least 3 of them are over there. There's another one around. All right, so on with the show. So we're here tonight with Sarah Johnson. Sarah Johnson has written a book. Is everyone aware that she's written a book? Yes. Congrats for writing a book, Sarah. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I haven't written a book. I'm impressed. So we're going to talk a little bit about the book, and we're going to talk a little bit about Sarah's experience as well. The books are out front. If anyone wants to buy one and have Sarah personalize it or sign it for you, feel free. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Sarah, what inspired you to first use the term content first design? Was there like an aha moment that you want to describe to us?
Sure. I teach a course at Bentley University User Design Center. And when I had to create the course, I reflected on my work that we did at TIA, and everyone there had been to the design school, the D school at Stanford, and they came back with design thinking. And from there, I don't know how I made this leap. I was teaching, what I wound up teaching was how to design with content. And so I called it content first design, then I heard it like everywhere. But I decided to do the book on it and felt really nervous about it until I met Melinda, who encouraged me greatly and helped me. So yeah, that's how I first came to use it.
We decided I'm the auntie of this book.
She is the auntie.
So I'm gonna buy it its first prom dress.
Indubitably.
Take it out to lunch. Cool. So you talk about TIA. You say TIA, but that's TIAA, formerly known as TIA Craft. Does everyone know what that is? Okay, we all know. Good. So you mentioned the book in the TIAA in the book. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about it. There's a big example around it. Do you want to talk us through kind of that early work and your content first approach and how that shaped your desire to write this book?
Sure. Well, I was really learning about the user experience from the user's point of view. And we did a lot of empathy mapping. We sat on the call center and listened to how people talked and what their issues were. And we learned a lot from that, actually. We learned how nervous these like professors and doctors were about doing stuff online with their money. They were really comfortable in a technical environment, but weren't comfortable dealing with their money. So we learned to create reassurances and break down the process really slow, step by step. You're doing great, stuff like that. And that made a huge impression on me, was making that shift.
Cool. And you mentioned there's like an example in the book that's very, very, very compelling, around a 76% increase in task success due to content changes only. So I know a lot of us talk about demonstrating impact with content. This is a great example. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you did that?
Well, we were actually measuring content, which was amazing. And, you know, I worked really closely with product, and I taught them that I was the writer and that they were product. And that's really about building trust with people and showing them and working with them and saying, this is great, what you've got. What do you think of this? You know, and doing stuff in real time with them really built trust so that they let me be the writer. And they were measuring content, measuring performance, because it was a redo of the entire experience and a rebrand of TIA. So we actually got numbers back and we could tweak stuff. And we did that again at CVS where, remember where insurance, you could buy COVID tests with your insurance? That came out, so that was like federally funded at CVS. And we had to work on the flow for that. And when we finally delivered it, because it was so, it was gonna be like 80 million people looking at it or something ridiculous, they were measuring everything. So we would make content changes like hourly, stuff like that. You learn a lot with that kind of constant feedback, you know?
Wow, it's almost like you teed me up for my next question. So thank you. So you describe digital experiences as conversations, and putting those experiences together as a conversation as well. So how did this metaphor become central to your kind of worldview around content?
Yeah, I look at the digital experience as a conversation with a user, and how can you have the conversation if you don't know what the words are? And Melinda took it further when we were playing on the book to say, how can you make a movie without a script? And it just seemed so obvious, you know, once I was looking at what I was teaching, that that was the deal. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. And you've done a few online workshops about like activities like conversation mapping that you talk about in the book. Do you want to explain a little bit about those deliverables, those activities, and how they fit into?
Sure. Conversation mapping is fun, and we do it in my course. And we pretend like we don't do it with real users. We do guerrilla testing in the course. And it's you pretending one person's a user and one person's a representative of the company, and you have a conversation. Oh God, picture taking. Oh my God. Lost track of thinking. Okay, conversation mapping. So you put yourself in the position of the user and what their experience is going to be and what they might be looking for and how they want to be spoken to, what's their language. So it helps shift your perspective. And if you can do it with a real user, someone who's going to be using your product or service, like power to you. You're going to get so much good information from that conversation. I learned that at TIA. We do empathy mapping in the course. You know, what do people do, say, think, feel about the experience? And I get to sit in on a lot of that user research at TIA. And I guess I can say that I was there for 8 years and it had a huge impact on me. And the directors were really open-minded. And they sent me to do, I was really into meditation and mindfulness and mindful leadership. And they sent me away to the SGI Leadership Institute that's Google founded. And how open-minded were they to do that? Like to bring meditation and those sort of soft skills into the practice, because you need those to relate to users. And
Please.
it was really good.
Yeah. So as folks were looking through the book, as we were sitting outside, somebody opened it up and they exclaimed, "Oh, the double diamond." Yes. Who here knows what the double diamond is? Everyone raise your hand. Okay, if you don't know, you're going to find out. It's very exciting. So why did you leverage that framework in the book?
I loved design thinking and human-centered design, but the double diamond spoke to me more from a process standpoint, how I practiced it and how I'd seen teams work with it. And what I liked about it was you can sort of pick and choose what you do under each section in the book. And I chose certain activities under each section, but there are so many more. And you get to pick and choose what you can do. And sometimes you're so constrained, you can do like one thing in user research. And other times you have budget and good directors who say, hey, like, let's really do this. But I liked the flexibility of the double diamond, and I also liked the direction, like each phase. Sure.
Yes. You want to describe it?
Sure, unless
Yeah.
you want to.
No, get in there, girl.
The double diamond goes, let's see, discovery, define, design, deliver. And it's a diamond, double diamond, and it's cut in half each section. And the first section's about finding the problem and strategizing how you're going to solve it. And the second section is about like going for it.
Yeah, and there's also, I think, to get super nerdy about it, there is like an opening of like, what are we doing? And then, you know, a narrowing of like, this is what we're doing. And then an opening of how are we going to do it? And then a narrowing of this is how we're going to do it, right? So that's why it's in the diamond shape.
Thank you for that.
A researcher would say it better, but that's page 21 in the book, y'all. There we go. Thank you. appreciate that. There's also a triple diamond framework, just to say. Yeah, yeah. So
To really blow your mind.
to really. Okay, I love these questions so much. So the book has these from the experts sections that I think are so lovely and really kind of add a lot of great flavor. Do you have a favorite moment or insight from those sections you want to talk about?
The insight was that like I was not onto something new. Like people were really into content first, the people that I talked to. And I loved those sections because I wanted the book to be a community book. I didn't want it to be content first according to Sarah, because who the hell am I? I wanted it to be a community resource, like crowdsource, so that to bring people into the conversation. And that's one of the things I try to do with my consultancy is bring people in and ask, like, what are you doing to move content forward? What are you guys thinking? What are your challenges? What are your successes? And try and get to people to write about it on my blog. So if you have an idea, come get me. And I loved the idea of the crowd and the community, and I just want to build on that. And I got to meet some cool people.
And we'll talk more about that later. She's seeding this theme. I love it. So a lot of folks, how many people here are like a solo content designer or an IC or on a tiny team? Okay, a lot of people. So how can these folks start using your framework? Because they're in like a more of a resource constrained environment, most
Right.
likely. That's my guy. I see nods. Okay, yeah.
That's one of the things I like about the Double Diamond is you can sort of pick and choose your activities. And so maybe if you have a project, you could do activity A, and then you get another project, you can do activity B, and build on what you learn about the user that way. I think that the resource constraint is really a tough thing to do, but if you can get yourself in at the beginning, that's half the battle. And educate out about what content-led design is, educate product, educate the visual designers, the UI people, and the more that you can put it in their face, the better off.
In their face, write it down.
In their
In their
face.
face. So say that you don't have the luxury of working at a TIAA,
Yeah.
right, or TIA as we're calling it.
Yeah.
You write about the power of building relationships across functions, and some people may encounter more resistance than others. Do you have any recommendations for folks?
Sure. One of the things I learned at SGI, and one of the things that really helped me build relationships was listening, active listening to product, listening to designers, and understanding like, what do they need to be successful? Not just what do they need from me, but what's their deal, Instead of fighting to win, you're having a collaborative conversation. And to go into meetings prepared to have that collaborative conversation.
So put it in their face.
Put it in their face.
But also in a collaborative
and be
way.
nice.
Yes, okay, nicely put it in their face.
Yeah.
I get it, okay. What advice do you give? You mentioned getting in early is half the battle, fully agree with that. How do we do that?
Sometimes you have to just invite yourself. You have to know I'm serious when the meeting is and just go. And I had to do that a lot at my last gig. And it's annoying and pushy, but you have to do it. And if you show up and ask questions, people start to get your value and why you're there at this early phase in the project. Other places a lot think, we don't need content, we don't need content, we're designing the product. And it's like, shh, stop. So yeah, just invite yourself, show up, talk to people.
Well, and say things, right? If you're going to go to those meetings.
Definitely say
Say
things.
things.
Definitely
Don't just
say
work
things.
like a weirdo. Like you're there to
No.
contribute, right? And I think
Yeah.
once you start demonstrating value in a meeting like that, then you get invited to other ones, right?
Well said.
We already kind of talked about empathy mapping with stakeholders. Do you want to say anything more about how transformational that could be? Do you feel like we covered it?
I feel like we covered it a
feel
little
like we
bit.
did.
I would say is just it really gets you inside the experience of the user, not just how they're performing, but what they think and feel. I think that emotional experience that people have is really critical, and we don't look at that a lot. I had one kid come, one young man, with an emotional mapping thing. When I was interviewing him, he showed me that, and I was like, Psh, come in. Yeah, it was really, he was right on that. It was great. Yeah.
So for those of us who have analytics. Who has analytics here? Who has like a robust, like dope analytics practice? I see a hand. We all want to go work with
Two
you.
hands,
Can we go?
two
Where do you
hands.
work? Assuming that you do have analytics, or that you have like the dirtiest, noisiest, worst analytics that are so difficult to get any actual insights out of, how do you recommend that we advocate for measurable value in those types of environments?
I think you have
Asking
to,
for a friend, also.
no, it's interesting. It's hard to show measurable value without measuring. So I think you have to do a lot of like renegade measuring, testing content, like even if it's like Mad Libbing or highlight testing, user testing on content to show what's working and what isn't. When you can show what's working and what isn't, people can see the value of understanding what the user experience is on the content. It's
Okay.
an uphill,
That's true. User testing can be really a helpful way
yeah.
to get after it. That's a good one. And even if you're doing user testing, like separate from the
Yes,
experience, right?
yes.
So, like a lot of us are. You wrote an article recently on Medium that I read about AI.
Oh.
And you said, and I quote, AI is great at generating noise.
Ah, the
So,
noise.
yes, the noise. So, what's your biggest hope and your kind of biggest fear around AI and content design and all of this noise?
Well, my biggest hope is that we'll learn to collaborate and use AI as a collaborative tool. And my biggest fear would be that it replace people, but I really don't think that's going to happen. Because I think the noise is when what comes out of AI gets published. I think that's the noise. I think that it really takes a human. I look at it as you get drafts, you interact with it, you ask it questions, you mess with the tone and the voice, and you get ideas maybe you wouldn't have had. But I look at it as really a collaborative tool, and that's my hope.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Who here is bullish on AI? Who's into? I'm into it. I'm
I'm
into
into
it.
it.
People are not hands way up. Their hands are like they're
Put
very
your
like.
hands in the sky.
Okay. So you mentioned, right, that there are like opportunities for content folks with AI, right? It's not necessarily here to take our jobs, but maybe here to give us new jobs. So do you want to say a little bit about like what you think those new roles might look like?
Sure, I think some of the new roles are prompt engineering, which to me seems so basic. But it isn't, but it's like, it's so the work of content design. And they're finding other names for how you can interact with AI that I think are pretty intuitive to most of us. Does that answer your question?
I sort of, I mean, you're offering like consulting around
Yeah,
AI. So what
yeah.
kind of consulting, for example, for those of us who are,
Sure,
yeah.
that's interesting. The consulting we do is called AI readiness, and we have sort of a scorecard that walks you through. It's a kind of audit for AI readiness, and it looks at structure, scalability, operations, and ethics. And to see how set up you are to implement AI, and then it makes recommendations, gives you an audit, so you can have like someone do it for you, or we can give recommendations of what your team can do to get ready. But it's sort of a layered way of looking at, are you ready for AI? And the cool thing about AI is it shows not just what's not working, but it shows what's working. And you can look at that in a sophisticated way.
Nice. So both of us have been working in this field for about 20 years now, because we started when we were 5. We were very, very prodigious children. What is a misconception about content design that you're still facing?
I think of Mad Libs, like when you're handed a design and asked to put in the words. And that's happened to me, and I'm just like, you have to really educate about what it is, and it's so frustrating. It's like 2025.
Yeah.
Come on, people. So that's my biggest frustration with what people think.
Fill in the boxes.
Fill in the
I like that
boxes.
one. Just
Mad
put the words,
Libs.
put the words in the box.
Put the words. Can you
Yes.
fill in the words?
And also do it tomorrow. There are 75 boxes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. What's a piece of advice that you would give your younger self just starting out in the field?
Read more. Read more about the field. Stay up to date on what's going on. Read the medium. Read what's going on LinkedIn and see what people are doing, and it's evolving so quickly. You know, we need to stay up to date. And I have a huge array of books now, but I didn't. My younger self was just getting hip to that.
Yeah, now there's so much online. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about when Christina Halverson put out her book.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, now there's an answer for all of the things that people
This
have
is
been
what we
asking.
do.
Exactly. Like I remember getting a job, we were talking about this too. I was like frantically Googling what is a content strategist because that was my new role and I did not know what that was, right? There's so much more available now. There's so many more
Yeah, it's
resources than
great.
there ever used to be, which is lovely. So you're a novelist. Does everyone
Yes.
know this? Yes, this is not her first book. This is her first.
Sixth book.
Yes, her first nonfiction book, this one. So, how do you feel like your approach to writing novels has influenced your approach to your work and content first design?
I think it's about structure and modularity. Like, who wants to write a whole novel? You can't. Like, you have to break it down, right? And make it manageable for yourself. I don't outline. There are things people call like a planner or a pantser. Like, you fly by the seat. I'm a pantser. I fly by the seat of my pants. And by the end of the book, I know what the book is about. And I've never outlined or done anything like that. I've been really intuitive and I've been lucky with that. But I think structure, oh my God, code word says the hero's journey. Hello. I just gave you a plug. Yeah, I think structure
Interesting,
and stick-to-itiveness.
because you confessed to me earlier that you use AI sometimes for
Oh my
structure.
God. So sometimes, you know what I did was I took this workshop on writing and they were saying the benefits of outlining and looking at the beats and the story and this, that, and the other thing. So I thought, I'm going to try this. Like, I'm going to try and constrain myself and do this. So I worked with AI to write an outline for my book. And it's not something I'm going to use, but it gave me ideas for characters and where things could go that maybe, like, I had a conversation with it. I didn't say da 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 da. You know, I talked back and forth with it, and it really pushed my brain in different directions that I wouldn't have thought of on my own. I hate to say that publicly. Thank you.
Sorry.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay, we'll edit it. We'll edit it out and we'll get it in post. It's fine. Now, who here has read Save the Cat? That's what you're mentioning, right? Yeah, Save the Cat. It's good. I think it's really helpful for anybody who's working with content planning content because I think user journeys are very similar to looking at beats, looking at different moments, and understanding what you need to communicate at each moment, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I hate that.
it's the worst. So before you started working in content, you had another career.
Oh, yeah.
You were a programmer.
Right.
Yes. And so, how do you think that experience has informed your approach to content design, but also like specific to systems?
Oh my God, I think everything, like both the novels and the content design, come from that structured modality. Like you code pieces that go together and interweave with each other. And so I learned to think really analytically and in a structured way. And I think that has helped me a lot.
Have you done any object-oriented UX?
Yes.
Yes. Does everyone know what that is? Yes. That's what's up. Cool. Okay. So you've taught at Bentley, you mentioned that, and you mentioned that you run workshops. Some of those are online if you want to get one for free, that you can go and find them. What's something surprising that you have learned from your students?
That this really works. Like we sit down and they design with content and they're like blown away. But I am too. I'm like, wow, content first design. But they come up with the really cool designs using just the exercises we do around content. And I usually have them redesign a site that's a disaster. And the sites crack me up because they're so bad. But they make it structured, they make it user-friendly, they make everything. It's really, really interesting.
Are they working in Figma or what are they
No,
sketching?
they use whatever. Some of them do it in Figma. Some of them use what is the one? Mural
Yeah.
and Miro.
Why did they name those two things so similar? And it's so dumb because Miro came after Mural, and Miro used to be called Real-Time Board. Sorry, just a little bit of lore. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We were talking too about, has anyone here ever designed in PowerPoint?
Oh my God, yeah.
I have. Yeah, it happens. It happens. It's the bad old days before we had Figma. Exactly. So, okay. You did an experience with the Search Inside Yourself leadership program. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how that sort of has shaped your approach to content leadership in general?
Sure. I learned they have a great book on mindful leadership and Search Inside Yourself if you ever want to check it out. It's basically authentic leadership, like showing up and being yourself and letting other people be themselves. And when you do that, that's when you get the best out of people and respect them and encourage them and help them grow. And as a manager, I was really committed to helping people grow their skill set and move up. And I was criticized at CVS because I didn't take the limelight. Like, I tried to push my people out into the limelight and have them be seen for what they can do. Like, I'm already seen for what I can do. Like, I want to help people get out there. And yeah, I got in trouble for that. I don't know why, but there's a real difference in authentic leadership and sort of traditional competitive leadership. And I don't go for that. And the SGI Leadership Institute, they really teach you things like active listening and navigating difficult conversations. And it gives you a different way to look at how you're interacting with people. And I actually developed a class called Navigating Difficult Conversations with SGI that I gave to Tia, and almost everybody in the company, like 3,000 people took it, which was amazing. And they had results, which was so cool. It made me feel like I was doing something meaningful.
Right? I
Yeah,
know.
and UX.
Yes, yes. I
Woohoo!
mean, and I think a lot of us who are leaders, like I come to work for the people that
Yes.
I work with and to help them to shape their careers and help them
Yeah,
to, you know,
to grow.
upskill and up level and grow. Like that's the joy of it for me. I don't know if it is for other people, but I think we often get the message though that, you know, exactly that it's about demonstrating impact and managing up, and you can't do both of those
Demonstrating
things
impact
effectively.
and growing visibility. And I'm like, I'm
Correct.
visible. I'm right here.
I'm here all day.
Here all day.
What do you hope, coming back to the book, that readers will walk away with after they read Content First Design as far as like upskilling and helping people
Sure.
grow?
Sure, I think it's sort of, there's so many ways to do content first design. I think this is one methodology, so I hope you get sort of a how-to that can give you some confidence or an approach that could work for you. And it's like, I would suggest picking and choosing what works for you and what doesn't. And I also hope that they learn a lot from the experts and walk away with a sense of like, this is our community. This isn't Sarah. You know, we're all in this together. And all these people are talking about content first design. Here's one way to do it. How do you do it? Let me know.
And are there places that people can go that you would recommend that they can go and find community to get those kinds of answers?
Sure, meetups is a great thing. Being on LinkedIn is great. I learn a lot all the time. And go to my website, read the blog, go to our Medium page, look at the Medium. They have tons of great stuff.
Yeah, and you mentioned also you've started this moving content forward community. Do you want to talk a little bit about that specifically?
Sure. So we have, I work with this guy, Ian, and we started moving content forward, doing monthly talks to try and engage people in different aspects of content design and find out what other people are doing. Like, we're doing content first design. Are you doing that? How are you doing it? Or what are you finding challenging? What are you successful at? And learning a lot. It's one meeting we had was really interesting. We were talking about AI and learned the ways that other people use it. And like several people said they use it, they weren't native English speakers, and they used it to sort of check in with their language skills. And I thought that was a really interesting, cool thing. But we try and get people together talking, you know, and be community. And with the blog, we try and do the same thing, like publish whoever wants to write an article and get people talking. It's very new, but
But this feels like it might be a call to action. Is that what that is?
That
Is there a button?
Write to
that
me
people
about a
can
blog.
press? Okay. So if you want to do some blogging, you can talk to Sarah.
Definitely.
Okay, where can we find you?
Sarah at contentfirstdesign.com.
That's easy.
Yep, super easy.
Okay, and there's cards up in the front
Uh-huh.
as well. Do you want to talk about the other resources that are available by the book?
Sure. My business card is up as a book table, and there's a one-pager on our AI readiness framework and a one-pager on what we can do for content first design.
And there's
If you're
bookmarks,
interested.
free
Bookmarks from
bookmarks.
Code Word.
Yeah.
They're really dope. I'm actually really
They really
excited
are
about
cool.
using these bookmarks. Okay, so I think we're ready for some audience questions. Everybody looks like they are filled with questions. I'm going to run the mic around in these shoes, so you get to watch that happen. Who has a question? Oh, Maria, you're the best. Thank you. She's also got some crazy heels on, yes, as usual. Anybody?
This might be for Melinda, but what's the third diamond? I'm so curious.
So this was just explained to me this week, so I'm going to explain it badly. But the third diamond is around like testing and making sure that you're building the right thing, right? So it's experimentation, it's like the assessment piece.
On the topic of structure and modularity, I'm really curious how you see content-first design helping content designers contribute to design systems.
Oh, that's interesting. I think it gets us out there in the beginning and helps us think through the user problem and contribute more effectively to a design system based on actual like research and knowledge of the user and not like our best instinct, which can be different.
Well, I would also say, I know that yes, get in there. Do you have a comment about the design systems piece? Yes, Mr. Design Systems. That's what I thought you were throwing in, man.
No, I mean, I have a question, actually. I don't have any. I had comments last time. But you mentioned about the filling in the boxes thing that you didn't enjoy. And admittedly, I don't know what the process would be for a content designer. Is it that they come in like with the designer to kind of like jam? Or is it like a separate, almost like slice of the process? Because when there's boxes to fill in, like or is it like reverse, where you're coming with the content and the graphic designer's meant to like go around it? I'm curious.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think we used to be handed wireframes and asked to fill in the boxes. And now we're more collaborative with the designers. And the idea of content-first design is to bring in the designers and product and content all at once so that it's completely collaborative. But the content leads the charge because we're having a conversation with the user.
I agree.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
I have many questions, but I'll ask you this one. How important is it for us as content designers to know about everything, like including UX design, or is it more important for us to like specialize in what we know and be specialists in the content, the words, and all those things?
I think the more knowledge, the merrier, right? But learn your content design skills first. But it's hard not to absorb what other people know when you're working with them, especially if it's content-led or content first. But yeah, I like that idea of learning the different practices. And you will by osmosis. Yeah.
Always learning is my motto.
But like I know Vanetta, so I would say too, like Vanetta's the most curious person I've ever met in my life.
cool.
But you don't need to know everything, right? Like I think
No.
part of it is like we all are. It's like a band.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody plays their
Community.
own instrument, right? But we all come with our own understanding of music. We all come with our own feeling about the music that we like to listen to or the lyrics that we would want. So we all are informing that. You don't have to have an expertise in every instrument.
That's a great metaphor. You're welcome.
I didn't come up with it, but thank you.
This question is a little bit more narrow. There's a question on the other side of the room. This question is a little bit more of a, say, specialist question than a generalist question, just to follow that framework of the previous question. Can you say a bit more when you said that you were using AI to think through when you were writing by having a conversation with it? Could you maybe put some color on that? Like,
By having a conversation? Oh, sure. I would say one thing you can do with AI is attach a document to it, and if it's a PDF, it'll read the whole thing. So I put, do you want to know what I did with my novel or with UX?
whatever you want to
I
answer.
haven't used it in UX. I haven't done this with UX yet, but with the novel, I put in the first 150 pages, say I'm going to go next, and then it'll do something, and I'll say, no, that's not my voice. My voice is blah, 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 and just talk back and forth. And it talks to you like it's super excited. It's super congratulatory. Like, I really rock, according to my AI. I rock. But just like I talk back and forth to it like I would to someone I was trying to teach. And, you know, I don't take everything it says like super seriously, but sometimes it bends the mind a little. Yeah,
Thanks.
sure.
You probably do rock, though.
She does. She does.
I know Melinda rocks.
.com.
Yeah, in case you were wondering.
Erica.
Hey, I am curious how you get, let's say, designers to understand this concept of content first design when in their minds and in their previous experience, it was always design first. So I'm just kind of curious how you approach it and win folks over and perhaps influence them to later use the terminology of content first design. How do you approach particularly that designer who's always been design
No, that's a
first?
really good question. I think the way that I've done it is to include them in the content-led research and to bring them in from an early stage, so to make it as collaborative as possible while we're the professional with the content knowledge. And I think the more you include people, especially the people who feel threatened, the more they come around, my experience.
Also, sorry.
They
it's
don't want to do
Erika.
it all the time, but they.
That's true. And I think, sorry to correct, Erika is how you pronounce your name. I know, it's, I saw it written in my mind. I would say too, you don't have to say content-led design. You don't have to say content-first design. I typically don't.
That's
I
interesting.
think you just do it, right? And then later you're like, you know what you just did? You just ate broccoli.
Spoken like a woman who must have children. Oh, did I cut someone off?
Yeah, it's fine.
I did?
So just like in the spirit of just doing it, I found that writing about content design is content design. So can you talk about any challenges you might have faced, whether it was explaining a concept or just not
Oh, that's
wanting
I love that.
to finish?
When I first started the book, I wanted it to be written like content design would be. And I fell off that train somewhere along the line and wrote paragraphs that were too long. And Melinda said the sentences were too long too. So I'll never work for her. But I think it's very similar to content design, you know, if you can sustain it.
So you mentioned coming from a developer background, and I did too, except to support myself as a writer. So I'm curious, when you were developing, did you see yourself as a writer? in that
Yeah, I
time?
was writing at the time, and it was to support myself as a writer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so peace. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it was a lucrative way at the time I was doing it. It was a really lucrative way to make money. I was so frugal back then. I wish I was now. I would set aside like however much money I needed to earn in a year, and I'd save that money, and then I'd take a year off and go do what I needed to do. And I did that. And when I got really broke, I'd call someone and say, I need a contract. And back then it was just everywhere. It was a tech bubble. The opposite of what we're having right now.
It's just a blip, y'all.
It's a blip.
It's
It's a reset.
yeah, it's a reset, exactly.
Hi, I have a question. Thanks so much, Sarah, for this talk, and Melinda for guiding us through it. What do you think about being in a job where you have to educate others about what the job is? What do you think about that?
It's so annoying. It's really annoying. But, you know, the field has been the way it is. It was UX led, and we have to push that envelope. We have to do that dirty work to do it. And it's annoying to have to teach people what you do, you know? And the more education they get, the better, and it helps you advocate for content design in general in the organization. Like some organizations, oh my God, the job I was just at, when I was laid off, they're like, we don't need a content designer, you know, and it's like, you need education, you know, around what this is and what the value is that it brings. And it can be an uphill battle at some organizations, and other ones are like right on board, you know, but it's annoying.
Can I ask one follow-up question?
Sure.
What do you do when you've done it a couple times and you see, oh, I need to educate this person, but I'm so exhausted? What do you say to yourself to
Why
get?
do I feel like you're dealing with this at work and you're totally exhausted?
For a friend.
I'm asking for several friends.
When you're exhausted from educating, that's a good question. Get another content designer on board. Like, get a team going. Get like a, what do you call it when they're like a circle? What do you call? I can't think of the
Community
word.
of practice?
Yeah, like a circle.
Intervention?
Like a meal train? Like,
Like a circle of content designers that sets out to educate people. That it's not, you know, a forum.
We've decided it's a coven, yes.
Yeah, a coven. That's exactly what you need. And to have it be like a resource where designers could call in once a week or have a, you know, a weekly call set up where people can call in or you can call them.
You've been summoned by the coven.
because you're gonna have to do it for
Exactly.
your whole career, right? Like that's just the unfortunate reality. I'm working on a deck on that right now. I've made so many of those. But I also would say too, our UX designer and research friends experience the same hardships, right? They're just, arguably my husband's a UX designer, like we always say like he's 10 years, his discipline is 10 years ahead. Although they've been 10 years ahead for the last 10 years, so I don't know how that works exactly. But yeah, but I think too, if you can just say, I'm here to help, man. Like I'm here to help you do your job better, right? I think that that is a wonderful way to frame it. And if you can frame deliverables and frame the work that you're going to do as work that they don't have to do, that's really powerful.
Should have put that in the book.
It's never too late.
Second edition.
What you got, girl?
So one way I've found success is convincing a leader of the value of content. Have you found the same thing? And if so, how did you go about that?
I've been really lucky. I wish I could speak to that more directly, but like it's a job I just mentioned about the value of content, they weren't budgeable. Whereas other directors I've had were really open-minded, and I bring up Tia, and CVS was open-minded, but ironically, like the director was iffy. So yeah, I've had mixed experience with that. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I have to say, in most of my roles, I've come in to build a content team. So like, for example, when I started here at MasterCard, so I had somebody who was, you know, at a high level, at a leadership level, who believed in content. I just had to convince everyone under them and everyone around them, right? But I
great.
had that person.
Right.
So I think if you don't have that scenario, you need to try to figure out how to get that going for yourself.
That's great.
Hey, Sarah, I had a quick question about AI. I wanted to come back to that
Sure.
quickly. You had mentioned kind of as an emerging skill set, the need for prompt engineering. Is that something you see longevity in, or do you think the LLMs are going to get so smart that prompt engineering isn't going to be as
That's really
important?
interesting. That's a very technical question. I have no idea.
Okay. No, I don't either. I just wondered if you had an
I
opinion. on
wonder,
that.
that's interesting. Like, we're going to teach AI so much that it's already going to know, and we
Right,
won't
right.
have to teach it anymore. That's interesting. That's like Terminator 2, where the computer takes over the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ah.
No, but I think, I mean, there's all this like AI 2027 stuff that came out last week. If you haven't read it, check it out. It's like a narrative form, imagining of like what can happen with AI by the year 2027. And there's like a happy path and an unhappy path. So it's interesting to check out. But the happy path is that there will be more governance, right? That people will step in and be like, no, we need to like rein this in. We need to make sure that it goes where it needs to go. And I think that that's the role that content will play, because you can't train AI on itself. Essentially, like that's what makes it hallucinate. So somebody needs to be there to help to train it. So if that's a role that we can carve out for ourselves, then more power to us. Computer trainers.
Okay, just a random fun question. Because my 91-year-old dad is always asking me what I do. How do you describe that? I'm just kind of curious, just for fun.
For me, I always say something that shuts people up. I always say it's the intersection of user needs and business requirements. And people are like, and they don't ask anything else.
Pretty good, pretty good. I go with digital editor for my dad, who's
Well,
91.
that's good.
I just say, do you use the Chase app? I do what's in there. Somewhere in there.
I like that.
This is really random, but we used to work together at CVS. I just
Oh
realized
my God,
this
what's your
today.
name?
Wade King. We,
Oh my
we used
God,
to work
yes,
on the
yes,
same
yes,
team, and I just
yes.
put 2 and 2 together today, and
Yeah.
it's just really, I'm kind of like spitting. But
That's so funny.
I guess I'm in accessibility, digital accessibility, so
Yeah.
not content necessarily, but kind of connecting the work we've done in the past. How do you feel like content can help inform ethics with accessibility in AI? Those are like
Yeah.
3 things I know, but like, what are your thoughts on ethics with content?
I think it has
in
to be
AI?
inclusive and not reduce the audience, but include everybody in the audience, not be biased, and only we can teach it that. And I think accessibility teams are really necessary in part of content.
Yeah, for sure. And with like overlays and products that are trying
Yeah.
to fit the solution, but they're just kind of breaking now. Those are signs we can see AI can't fix everything, at least in the next few years. So
No. Which is good.
More CVS people here. I want to talk to you about your app. Anybody else from CVS? I need to talk to you about your app. Oh man. Okay.
There is another CVS person, isn't there? There's another
Yes,
one. Yeah.
Catherine.
All right. If there's no more Q&A, we can go back out there and drink some. Sound
Yeah,
good?
come up and say hi.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Melinda.